Okay, so listen. Today we're going to have a little bit of unplanned honesty between you and me. This is way more honest than I was really planning on being this soon into the show, but it's kind of required. There's a little bit of a time shift going on here. As some people that are near and dear to me know, we're pre-recording a lot of these episodes before we're getting started. So the first 3 episodes that we've done already have all been completed. We're actually recording this one now before the first one has even gone out. Why is this something important to know, other than the fact that the reason why I maybe haven't responded to any of your awesome mail so far is because I haven't gotten any of your awesome mail yet. A lot of the events that have happened before are things that could have happened at any point in time. The Sebring Soda Festival, really cool, really awesome. You probably didn't look up when it was, because you probably figure you got another year. It was a few months ago. All the other things that I've done really could happen anytime, so there was no need to specifically talk about when it was, or when this is. I'm going to be completely straight with you for this whole thing here. When I first saw that awesome intro, I saw the intro, I knew the intro, but like the logo, I don't know what the logo looks like. I still don't know what the logo looks like. We're still not finished with that. There are still some things to be worked on. But this is still, since the beginning of these episodes end up being kind of a video journal of me to myself, to you, and to everybody, this felt like an important thing to talk about. But at the same time, you're going to know when this was, and that is Hurricane Dorian. So we're preparing for Hurricane Dorian right now. And that's why this is a little low-tech. There's no, I haven't made myself up or anything. Haven't just washed my face or anything. We're not doing coffee. We've got ourselves some Arnold Palmer, which I desperately want right now. So this is probably like midnight. This is a pretty early in the morning taping here. All right, so let's kick it back like 3 or 4 days ago. 3 or 4 days ago, this Hurricane Dorian, the way it was described to us, was going to be this little storm, goes from a tropical storm, kind of to a Category 1 hurricane, blows across Puerto Rico, Haiti, and then maybe turns into back into a tropical storm before coming up across us. That was 3 or 4 days ago. So people were, starting to worry, because that's what we do. Kinda. We mostly make memes, but we also worry. People were wondering, oh man, is this going to be a huge, crazy storm? And I even commented on someone's Facebook post that, no, you look at the charts, it's just going to get a little bigger, and then it'll die down, and it'll be done. Okay, cool. Skip to about 2 days ago, and suddenly, okay, this is going to be a huge storm. This is going to be a high Category 3 hurricane, and it's going to plow right into the side of Florida. So it's going to tear straight across Orlando, and oh my God. And all that craziness is going to happen right in the middle of the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And that's kind of scarier. Now we can even skip to today. And of course the track changes, so now it's not plowing straight across, it's going to hit us from the bottom and it's going to come up, which there's a part of me that kind of likes that because, all right, it'll have some time to slow down. All right, so even this morning they were saying, okay, up to Category 4, significantly different than what it was before, Category 4, and then it's going to hit Florida, and then as it pushes its way into Central Florida, it'll die down to a Category 1. Still a hurricane, still destructive, still sucks. But to anyone who's lived through it and kind of knows how a hurricane is, pretty manageable. Now tonight, they've adjusted the model again. So now it's going to be just a rip-roaring Category 4 smashing into the lower southeast side of Florida, hitting us, and then coming up through, and now through Central Florida is going to be a Category 2, which is, I mean, it's not the end of the world, but it's worrisome. It's, people in Florida that have lived through a bunch of these are certainly used to it. They have their hurricane parties. They go out, they buy, wine and whatever, and they have, hurricane parties, usually for, the smaller categories. If it's going to hit us at Category 2, okay, by the time it goes inland, it'll be a Category 1, and yeah, you can hang out as long as you know your place is safe and you're pretty good. Yeah, so this is where I start to get a little bit more worried. And we've still got, the timetable's been pushed back. The timetable's been pushed back, so the hurricane's going to hit us now Monday, Tuesday, somewhere around then. It keeps getting moved around, so I'm not going to, hold it to it or anything. But it's certainly not going to be this weekend. Actually, unfortunately, and this kills me. I mean, the hurricane might kill me too, but probably not. But what kills me deep inside is that I have been rabidly excited for Baby Metal to be coming here to Orlando. I was so excited. We bought a table to go see them, and so crazy excited. Been looking forward to this for months and months. And guess when the hurricane is coming? It's coming during Baby Metal. And, for a brief moment, there was a great thought that we were thinking, who knows, maybe the hurricane will die down. It'll become, a Category 2 or 1, and then it'll just be a 1 by the time it hits us, and it'll blow past. And then they'll decide to have the show anyway, and there'll be this just hardcore fan group that goes, and it'll just have this amazing energy, and they'll joke that Baby Metal themselves were carried in on a hurricane to the state of Florida, and no, they canceled. I don't know if it's a postponed or a canceled. I trying not to set my heart too much on there being a postponement, because I don't want to get my hopes up, but that's a real bummer. So, yeah, so now hurricane's coming through probably Tuesday, Wednesday, on Monday, Tuesday, whatever. It's going to change. By the time you see this, it's going to be over. I mean, you're probably going to see this. My brain does all sorts of anxiety, worry things. And I know, again, as Floridians, we joke about it a lot. We make a lot of memes. But I think there's this constant low-key anxiety, this worry. Because, it's all going to be okay. Generally speaking, they're all okay. Even Irma, pretty okay. There were one or two acquaintances of mine that really had their stuff wrecked in Irma, and that sucks. But generally speaking, everybody else was okay. Even this house that I'm living in now, I mean, it survived Irma fine. There was some creaking and some banging, and since Irma, I've got a new roof, and not only is there a new roof, but even there was a kind of not well attached side of the roof, and even that's been fixed. So as long as Dorian comes through at a Category 1, 1.5, I'll feel kind of okay. The other big difference is last time, I had to board up the windows for the first time, and they did not have the right hardware for that, and it's a long and miserable story that I will spare you most of the details of. But something I did not have then that I do have now are plywood clips. So these wonderful little wonders should hold all the plywood into the windowsills so that they don't go anywhere and keep everything protected. And I'm pretty excited about that, because the last time it took me about 3 days of drilling into the side of the house with these giant anchor bolts, which you can't really take out, you kind of have to cut them off. Miserable, miserable, miserable. Now, after that, I cut all that plywood, which was oversized, cut it down to what it should be to fit into each of the recesses. I even double-checked, made sure it fit and everything. So in theory, I should be able to tap a couple of these plywood clips on and push them into the window, and everything should be fine. Now, this right here would be the part that, if anything terrible or horrible happened, we would show like a video of the results of that, probably like right here. Or nothing happened at all, which would be great. I would really love if nothing terrible happened, and if these don't come up again. Except for that maybe they were a huge success. That would be great, because we got plenty, should be good. The big thing I'm worried about, I've wanted a kind of a storm shutter for, on the back of the house there is this sliding glass door, and it's a big opening, like a really big opening. So it's a lot to cover, and so I have to screw together 3 pieces of plywood with like 2x4s in between and kind of front. And I'm like, okay, I can put clips on either side of those, but there might still be a bunch of bowing, and if you bow it enough, it's just going to get sucked out, and then something can break the window, and once the wind gets inside the house, it just blows the roof off the house, and then there's no more house, and I don't have a place to live, and all my stuff is ruined, and that's the stuff that's going on in my head. I'd like to think that probably it's not going to happen, and I'm going to do the best that I can to ensure the safety of my house and my stuff and my fiancé. But low-key, I think there's that little worry in all of us. I know I've got some, maybe a little bit more anxiety than your average person, so maybe some of that's seeping through, but I don't like it. I don't like the big storms. This one, they're saying Category 4, and the path keeps changing. So chances are you and I are going to talk again at least once more before it actually hits, and we'll see how it is afterwards. But yeah, so this is happening right now, and chances are you're not going to see this for a while, because once this whole thing blows over, no pun intended, assuming my hard drive and everything haven't gotten, carried away with the wind or soaked in water, at which point you're not going to see any of these shows. But let's hope that you have. Even once that gets finished and edited and everything, we've still got to play first episode, second episode, third episode, leading into this one. And I hope this will be almost funny in just how much we worried about it compared to how much damage actually happens. I feel like a lot of us learned a lot from Irma a couple of years ago. And I guess I'm going to not try to talk about that too much more, because we're already like 15 minutes into this, and I know you've got more of this crap to listen to. So, the long and the short is, this episode may not be super pretty, super fancy, but you're going to see all sorts of fun stuff after this. Once we get past Hurricane, once we get past the intro and everything, there's still going to be some fun to be had. We'll make it prettier. And we're going to talk about a whole bunch of other stuff that's, happened in the past. So, if I haven't responded to any of your email yet on the show, please don't be discouraged. it may be another episode or two before we actually can do that. I was kind of trying to hold off on recording more of these until we really got up and running. But this is, I think it's an important thing to document, at least for me. And I don't know. Maybe for some of you who aren't here in Florida, give another little insight. So, okay. I am going to do my best to unwind, play some Breath of the Wild, and go to bed. I'll see you guys in a minute. Bye. Okay, so it's been about 2 days since the last time I talked to you, and pretty much everything has changed between then and now, like a bunch of times over. So the last time I talked to you, we had the Category 1 was going to turn itself into a Category 3, hit us straight across the side, but as soon as it hit land, it was going to be down to a Category 1 as it came across the top, which is fine. Almost immediately after I turned off the camera, I went back online and things had changed again, where suddenly it was going to hit us a little bit further south and then come back up, but it was going to hit us across Central Florida at Category 2. Maybe higher, which was even more worrisome. Now, even after that, we got to the point where, okay, now it's going to be a Category 4. It's going to come up from the bottom, and it's going to drag up through, and still probably going to come across at about a Category 2, or we'll see. Again, a lot more worry from there. Then we got to the point where, okay, it's going to be a Category 5. Wait, it is. Dorian is a Category 5 storm that's going to hit us at the bottom, kind of work its way up, kind of move a little bit off to the side, but still, huge storm. It's going to nail us. And Category 5 is big. It's fast. It's dangerous. I mean, I was a little worried during our Category 2 with Irma. Category 5 was worrying. Kind of borderline terrifying. So we did that, and then things started to kind of inch a little bit more and more away. Like, okay, it's going to go a little further away from the middle of the state. So you'll get some of the edges. It's still going to be a lot of wind. Still kind of worrying. So guess what? I went out. I took those plywood clips. I put all those things together, the boards for the windows, and we got those installed. There was only a couple snafus here and there. Honestly, that back window that I was so worried about, still very worried about. They do not work great for that situation. I definitely need to find a more long-term solution for those. The windows, not too bad. There's a little bit of snafu with some of the installation, which we'll have to deal with. But generally speaking, it kind of works okay. Now, anytime we have bigger pieces of plywood that we have to like screw a couple pieces together and then put that in, the 2x4 that's behind it can cause some troubles. But honestly, way, way easier than the days and days of preparation that I had before. So they're all in place. I would take you outside and maybe show you some of the stuff, except for long story short, the hurricane right now is about as close to us as it will. And B, it's dark out. I just left work. They had us stay there till our usual very late hour before going home. But luckily, the storm did kind of pull away. It did get to a Category 5, sat on the Bahamas, as you know, and just trounced them. They were there for a really long time, just stalling and doing nothing before eventually coming up. As of right now, the storm did come up. It's down to a Category 2, and it is much farther away from the coastline. So that's way better and way less dangerous. Honestly, it's like right beside us right now. It's about as close to Central Florida as we're going to get. And it's not too bad. Driving home, the wind, there were hardly anybody on the roads. And there's a lot of people that are kind of taking shelter because with so much wobble in the track, it's tough to kind of put all your eggs in one basket and say, yeah, we're fine, or no, we're not. But honestly, we're going to be fine on this one. There's some people that are still having some troubles. further on the coast, and even some people kind of close by. We're not completely unscathed, but it's nowhere near the damage that we were kind of thinking was going to be happening right here. So I'm very thankful for that. So not only very thankful for that, and the fact that the weather's kind of calm, it is kind of only mildly annoying because putting together all that plywood, lifting it, putting it in place, all that stuff, my body's not very happy with me right now. My arms, my legs, my core, my back, like everything's sore. Like it's been too long since I've been to the gym kind of sore, which, true. But it's not like tremendous amounts of pain, so we're fine. The big thing, not the biggest thing, because the biggest thing is that we're not being blown away right now, which is fantastic. But another huge thing for me is that they did not cancel Baby Metal. So, that means tomorrow night we are still going to rock our brains out to Baby Metal, even though I have to get up early the next day. But still, we're going to ignore that. We are going to have a blast seeing Baby Metal. I am so unbelievably excited that they are still here. They're still going to be doing the show. We are tremendously excited. Jessie and I have been watching a bunch of the videos for some of their newer stuff. So that's going to be great. But I wanted to give you a little extra heads up because a lot has changed. We went from it's going to be a little trouble to absolute it's going to be disaster to oh my god, what are we going to do, to things are probably fine, to yeah, things are still probably fine, to yeah, things are fine for us here. There's a lot of people who aren't fine. That is absolutely selfish speak of mine to say that we're fine, but yeah, worried about our own butts here, trying to take care of the people that we can. So, I mean, certainly my heart goes out to everybody who was adversely affected by Dorian, and we're going to see all sorts of crazy damage coming out of this, which really sucks, but we are very happy to not have that damage here right now tonight. You know, it's crazy where so many of us worry, and there's so many Floridians that are almost complaining that there wasn't a more direct hit of the storm, complaining that we can't predict more about the storm's path and the strength and where it's going to hit, complaining that we all got prepared kind of for nothing, and a lot of joking around. You know, there's a lot of people saying if you evacuated from where you're living in Florida, you need to take the Salt Life sticker off your vehicle. I guess I kind of understand wanting to make light of it, but at the same time, I don't know, I don't like shaming people for being worried about their own safety and the safety of their loved ones and their pets and their possessions. And, you know, we all make jokes about, you know, Florida man toughing out the storm, but we were all worried to an extent. Even the people that claimed like they weren't that worried. I mean, you can tell people do get worried because, I mean, we were running out of gas. There's a gas station right across the street, and we don't really live in a touristy part of the area, but they have like 5 different kinds of gas, which is, okay, yeah, pretty frou-frou. But out of those 5 different kinds of gas, the bottom 3, the regular, the super, the whatever, they were out. I mean, luckily I did get to fill up before that happened, but there's a time in which I stopped by there and they didn't have any. You were out of luck if you wanted any gas. There were people struggling to get water, to get bottles of water, jugs of water, to get supplies, I mean, bread was out in so many locations for so long. There was very clearly a lot of people very worried about their health and safety and the safety for the people around them. So, I mean, you'll see posts and memes from other Floridians, even from myself, and we do try to make light of the situation, but I think it's important to note that, you know, we're all worried about it. And with climate change, we're just going to get more severe weather. That severe weather is going to get even more severe. I mean, there's a great picture, which I can't find, so I probably won't be able to post anywhere around here. But it's Hurricane Dorian juxtaposed next to Hurricane Charlie, which were both Category 5 storms. Dorian's huge. Dorian is like the size of our state of Florida. We're a really big state. I mean, it takes hours to drive across it, and that's a mighty big hurricane. So we're going to get more like that, and things are going to still continue to be crazy. So we all need to prepare to, protect ourselves, to keep our supplies ready and everything. And this part, at least Central Florida, where we've passed it, but we know this isn't going to be the last big storm to come through, and something is going to hit us. So we got to be ready, and that's still kind of worrying. Still a little anxious about even this storm, but I know deep down that everything's fine and we're good. So, all right. So, unless I have another edition for this later on, then that'll be our hurricane wrap-up for now, and we will get you back to your regularly scheduled programming with hopefully a lot more fun stuff on the way. So, thanks for sticking with me. Thank you for hearing me out. Thank you for being the people that I can talk to and vent. And we will see you later. Oh, and spoiler alert. Okay, not really a spoiler because it's already happened and you've already seen it and you've been through it. Or anyway, so hurricane spoiler, everything was fine. It went past us. I mean, it grazed us. It got really close. We kind of dodged a bullet, but everything was fine. We barely even had any sort of wind or everything. So yeah, things were good. All right, let's start it. Alright, welcome back. So this episode's going to be a little off the cuff, a little quick. No producers, no coffee, but that's fine. We got plenty of stuff to do, plenty of stuff to talk about. Lots of things I wanted to get to. Oh, yeah, so you know how the hurricane just kind of blew right by us? No pun intended. So yes, of course, my fiance, Jessie, and I got to go to Baby Metal, and it was fantastic, and we were adorable. Check it out. Isn't that cool? Yeah, it was great. It was a lot of fun. So, it was great. Avatar was fantastic. Our first time seeing them. Yeah, it was super cool, super fun. Light wall and everything was super awesome. As you could see, it looked really cool. Why don't you take just a little listen? Exactly. It was a blast. It was cool to be able to hear a lot of their new stuff even before the album has come out. We got some really cool shirts, like the one she got. And then there's the one I got. And I even got this other really cool long sleeve thing, which was also super cool. And we were so inspired by the papaya that, of course, they had these awesome towels. So we got those to be able to have a blast with too. It was exciting to be able to see them so close. So yeah, that happened. That was kind of the upside to everything. All right, now something else that happened. This happened back in Memorial Day weekend. So it's a little bit of a throwback, but it's some stuff that I had that I wanted to show you guys. So I went up to Barton, Vermont with my family for Memorial Day weekend, and I figured I'd take you guys along with me. So I figured I'd show you some stuff about the annual trip that our family would take up to Crystal Lake. So why don't we take a look, shall we?
Well, this may not be one of the most thrilling, exciting places with all sorts of crowds of people and wild adventures that I may end up taking you to, but certainly a place I want to take you to anyway. So just about every time of year this year, a whole bunch of people from my family come up to this little kind of little cabins on a lake in a small town of Barton, Vermont. Now, when I say small town, I'm talking about the last estimate, there's roughly about 2,800 people living in this town. That's it. So, small town. It's actually way up north of, north area of Vermont. So it's kind of near Canada. And you can kind of hear some of the cars going by here. So it's this kind of cool setup where there's a bunch of these cabins. It's actually called Lakeview Cabins in Barton, Vermont. So feel free to give them a shot if you're ever up in this area. And so there's something like 6 or 8 of these little cabins, which have, a couple little bedrooms, a little stove, bathroom, all the kind of basics. Although that doesn't tend to be its main draw. The main draw is going to be Crystal Lake, right back behind me. Now, for years, ever since I was a little kid, I would come here with my dad and my grandfather, and we would fish in this little boat, and we'd come up every so often, and it was a good time to hang out with them, and we'd go fishing. We'd catch a bunch of everything from lake trout, rainbow trout. I forget what else we'd caught throughout the years. I remember mostly rainbow trout because they would actually kind of keep those and eat them and cook them. I know about lake trout because, well, I did manage to get lucky this year, and I have caught 2 of them. There's this one and then this other one. So pretty happy about that. I was actually the only one this year to catch some lake trout, and actually to catch anything here in Crystal Lake. So got to take a few days to fly up here and to relax with this nice big old lake. I got a few streams running down into it. Take a boat ride with Dad and hang out and relax, which has actually been really cool. So it's been a few days. We've had a barbecue. And it's just been a nice, relaxing experience. But if you happen to come up to Vermont, if you want a good place to do some fishing, actually there weren't too many bugs here. We also went up to another pond, May Pond, which I assume is named after the flies or something, because there's just a ton of flies around there. Make sure to bring your mosquito head nets or something. But here at Crystal Lake was actually pretty good. Temperatures are pretty good. A little chilly, but they got a nice heater and stuff like that. So it's been good. So yeah, feel free to come on up, check the place out, enjoy this lake. And been a little bit of a thing. At least it's been a thing for me. I will see you back in Florida. Bye.
And welcome back. So, yeah, I had a lot of fun. That was a really relaxing time. It was a little bit ago, but I wanted to take you guys with me and kind of show you that nice, peaceful part of Vermont there. So, thanks for coming along with me for that. Now, next, all right, I've been meaning to geek out about this for a bit, because there's a few different things we have to geek out about, but I have to say, they dropped it. We got to see it. It was the newest trailer for the series that just absolutely thrills me that's going to be happening. That is Star Trek Picard.
Are you excited about the Picard trailer too?
No, I stubbed my toe on the desk over there. So that trailer, huh?
Yes.
Yes.
Ah,
it's really exciting.
my gosh.
Okay. So we have both been raised on, at least for me, it's been a lot of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Oh, my mother raised me on it. I watched it from, she made me watch the original series when I was a kid. She was very super excited for The Next Generation when it came out during her time and my time, our time.
Yeah, I never really got a chance.
Well, by the way, if you are looking for a spoiler-free Star Trek anything, you are in the wrong video, so go away.
I mean, if you haven't seen the trailer already, then there'd be spoilers. But I think if you have any interest in seeing the Picard show, you've probably seen the trailer. About 99% of you.
But if you haven't seen Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Discovery especially, because I'm going to talk about Discovery and some of the things in there.
Okay, true.
So
All right,
if you
fine.
Or Enterprise, basically
Star
any of
Trek.
the Star Trek. Yes,
Yeah.
if you haven't
If you haven't seen
anything,
Star Trek, you will learn about Star Trek now.
you will learn about Star Trek now. And
This probably isn't the place to learn about Star Trek if you
Probably
have
isn't
no
the place
experience
to
with
learn
it. But I
about
mean,
Star
yeah.
But yes, but if you're looking for a spoiler-free experience, that is not here.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, what were you gonna
I was
say?
gonna say, I never really got into the original series. I mean, I'd seen some episodes, but really grew up with Next Generation. Like we would plan dinner around episodes of the Next Generation.
Aw.
We eventually did watch Voyager, and that was cool. I think for me, it's less cool in reruns than it was originally, but I have to kind of give it another watch. But I know. I loved it. No, there was so much that I loved about Voyager, but it didn't hold up as well for me as going back and watching Next Generation. I still think everything is really fantastic. So, yeah, of course, the central part of that being Jean-Luc Picard. So, Patrick Stewart. The Patrick Stewart that never ages, hasn't, like, aged a year in forever.
Youth of Eternal.
Yes, and it's weird to see him get older
He
in
is
the trailer.
a little bit older in the trailer. I don't know if they did that on purpose. He's just older in general. I mean, he's almost 80 now.
You're allowed to age. It's okay.
Yeah,
we adore
you're
him.
allowed to age. It's okay.
For someone that hasn't aged in decades, it's okay for him to actually start aging. But yeah, really cool. Everything that I'd heard is that the people that were working with him said that his acting has gotten even better since the Next Generation and everything, so they were super impressed with him. There was another very clearly a female protagonist, kind of central character to the story.
Oh wait, I don't think you're talking about who
No.
No, you're not talking
No.
about. It's some weird chick with black hair. I don't know what she's about. I don't care about her yet. I'm sure once we watch the show, I'll care about her. But right now, she does not matter to me.
She seems pretty central to the whole plot of everything. I mean, it seems like he's discovered who she really is, and
I'm
seems
very
like he's gonna be
curious
protected.
about that part, how she fits in. I pretty much from all the other parts of the trailer have figured out kind of the premise of why he's returning back to Starfleet. But otherwise, from that, I don't know how she factors in. I have theories.
And everything that I've kind of heard is also that he's not exactly going back as Starfleet. Like, he's not being part of the official Starfleet. It's going to be this whole ragtag.
Kind of going rogue.
Right. Yes. Almost like a less pop star version of Captain EO, and with fewer aliens. Have you seen Captain EO?
Yes, we've seen
Okay.
Captain EO.
Making sure.
Oh my
It's been a
gosh.
while. They got rid of it a while at Disney.
They got rid of it?
I mean, they
Oh,
did at one
permanently?
point, and then, well, I don't know.
Not permanently. I don't think
Well, I don't think
Captain
it's
EO
still
is still
there.
there. If you don't know what
Is it?
Captain EO is, look it up.
Been a while since I've been to Epcot.
It's Michael Jackson, basically.
So yeah, definitely kind of a ragtag, not an unofficial group that's, who knows? I can't, you don't really know. We don't know. I mean, we're going to get there eventually, but clearly he spent a lot of time hitting the wine, growing, like he was growing
Which
and bottling
I was
wine.
so
Yeah.
happy about. If that's all that the show is him
Just growing
just
grapes, making
in
wine.
his grapevines and tending to the vines, I would be happy. I will watch that all day.
Especially if he has a dog.
Yes, he has a dog. In the posters, he has a dog.
Did he
And
actually?
I'm like, in my hearts of hearts, I always knew Picard was a dog man. And now it has become true.
So yeah, we've got that central character that they've clearly teased a bunch of times. Did we see her ears? Does she have some Vulcan or something going on? And she's clearly not some like normal average humanoid thing. Pardon us one moment while we check. Okay, so she doesn't have pointy ears. She is human.
Yeah, she is human. Well, she looks human.
She looks human, which could mean anything. But as Jessie also said, she's human,
bleeding.
but she's bleeding.
Yeah, she has like a. When you first see her in the trailer, she has like a cut right here.
She's the girl who lived.
No.
Accio trailer.
No. Accio com badge.
So, So yes, so she should be very interesting. And yes, of course, they had to feed us some more nostalgia. So not only did they have Jean-Luc Picard, but they also had
Out of left field. Oh my gosh.
yes, Jerry Ryan, 7 of 9. So they threw her in there.
Which I was already like really super thrilled about. And
she's clearly explored a lot more of her humanity. I know where you're going, but we're not going there yet. We're staying on Jerry Ryan.
Yes, Jerry Ryan definitely looks like, she has grown, that the character that she is going to portray, is going to be a grown 7 of 9 that has been in humanity, that has loosened up, that is not the hard, rigid
the
7
robotic,
of 9 that we used to know.
A lot more organic.
A lot more exposed to humanity, a lot more loose and tough and not... Well, she was tough before. She was cold before.
She was fairly, cold and machine-like. We got a chance to go to her Q&A session a couple years ago at MegaCon.
It was so cool.
It was so cool.
Before all this even came out, she was being secretive.
Did she know? Or did that?
I would imagine they were probably in talks about it.
Maybe.
There was probably some sneaky talks about it.
Who knows? But it was definitely a while ago, and she felt very strongly about the only reason that she took the role as 7 of 9 is because she could do other things with it. She wasn't just gonna. They wanted to put her in, the skin tight suit and tall heels and everything like that, but she was not going to let it be one of those kind of female characters that. In all the promos if you go back and look at 7 of 9 promos back when she was introduced as a character, if you look at the posters and stuff like that, she's in that silver skin tight suit, and really she only appears in that 2 or 3 times in the actual show itself. So she is in skin tight clothing that fits her body well throughout the series, but she definitely, I think, overcame the whole I'm not just a sex symbol. I am here to she's a character of substance.
Yes, I am. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was cool, and I'm very curious to see, now that we're talking about it, I'm sure at some point they're going to throw some sort of backstory in there as to what she's been up to all this time. Because that's got to be kind of cool, too. I'm sure they address it and talk about it, and I assume it's going to be incredibly interesting. But yeah, so really cool to see her, and not just because we went and saw her at her Q&A, and not just because she has a picture of her panties.
Jerry Ryan, if you're watching this, you have a picture of me, of Brent Spiner.
Brent Spiner, yeah. Okay, so we did a meet and greet autograph with Brent Spiner because he was at MegaCon, and we lost our minds. We'll get to him. The thing. Do you know where they are?
Yes, I know.
In theory, she could get them right now, like that. Hey, she got him. So we decided we were going to get some sort of autograph. We had no idea what in the world he could sign, except for it was Brent Spiner. It was Commander Data. We had to do the meet and greet and say hi and everything. And then we realized that I had gotten her a set of underwear, which was the different, uniform shirts. And so, yes, we got the one of the yellow, like he would wear, and we brought that for him to sign. And he thought it was the coolest thing ever.
He laughed. He laughed really good.
He thought it was so cool. I'm not sure if he had ever seen a set of those before.
Yeah, I was very surprised that he was never asked that sign underwear before.
True, yes.
I don't know quite how he felt about it.
Yes, programmed in multiple techniques, yes. So he thought it was so cool, and Jerry Ryan's table was next to his. So he took them, and before he signed them, he turned around and, "Hey, Jerry! Hey, Jerry!" And she was having her own, hi with somebody, and so she turns around, and she sees Brent Spiner holding up her underwear.
And he does this. He basically,
he
holds them up to him, to his waist.
She thinks it's fantastic and hilarious. She pulls out her phone, and she takes a picture of him holding her underwear. That is the coolest damn thing ever.
And I stalked her Twitter for weeks after that, waiting
hoping
for that
she
image.
would have a picture popping up on it,
So
and
Jerry,
it never happened.
Go back into your phone, your cloud, and find a picture and post it, please.
If you're hearing this, and if you do that, you have no idea how stupid happy that would end up making
Orlando
us.
about 3 years ago.
Scroll on through. Yeah, I can't imagine what's in her camera roll, but that would be amazing. Anyway, so seeing her in there is going to be so cool. I think she's going to bring a great character to the show. And then, at the very end of the trailer, and there he is, Commander Data in all of his unaged glory.
And that was one of the big parts of why Brent Spiner was like, I'm never doing the Data character again, is because Data is supposed to not age. And
Brent Spiner, being a human, like Patrick Stewart, he has aged.
Yes, he has aged, and it's not that he looks bad for his age. It's just that
he doesn't look like an android.
Yeah, he does not look like Data.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people have made fun, and then a lot of people have defended. Like he's like in the trailer, he does have puffy like cheeks, like that he's gained weight kind of in his face. Which okay.
Do you or do you not want to see Data in this show?
We gotta make some exceptions. Yeah. Don't ruin this, people.
Yeah, don't do it.
Internet, come the heck down.
So so that was super cool. There was so much there. There was the what was there, like a Borg cube?
So before they introduced Jerry Ryan and Brent Spiner, 7-9 Data, they showed a quick flash of a Borg cube, and it looked like if you stop down, it looked like a more advanced Borg cube than we've seen before.
Does it have Bluetooth? They didn't have Bluetooth back then.
They didn't need it. But I think they were going similar to a design that was on Voyager, where kind of the cube had like corners to it. There was like a few different versions of cubes that they had when you started getting closer and closer to their territory as a whole. And over, and basically, spoiler alert, we already told you. From me watching and picking and scouring the internet, and I'm sure everybody else has their theories, and that's what I'm sourcing from too, is basically if you look through the bits that flash after that, is there's a guy on a table and he's laying there, and he definitely has Borg,
the implants.
The Borg implants. It looks like a failed simulation, basically. And I think the people that are there, because you have to remember, so if you go back to the Star Trek movie that came out in the one that...
Google it.
Google it. The one that came out with Chris Pratt. Is that his name? Chris Pratt?
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 I don't know.
Chris Pine, maybe. I don't know. The new Star Trek movie. I'm sorry. I'm not good with actor names. Anyway, if you remember, the plot of that was that Spock, older Spock, time traveled and failed to save the Romulan homeworld.
Yes.
So, in this timeline, there is no Romulan homeworld. The great and powerful Romulan Empire is probably in shambles now. So it looks like, and you see a lot of people with pointy ears in the trailer, but they're not Vulcan. I'm pretty sure they're not Vulcan. They don't act Vulcan. I think Romulans are messing around with Borg technology, trying to gain a foothold back in the Alpha Quadrant. Because they went from, like, up here to down here.
That's
and they're trying to get back up here.
That's a big can of bees to open, but
I mean, if you're going to start a new series, that's certainly a way you can go.
I mean, it would be what the Romulans would do. I am wondering if they're going to bring back Denise Crosby, who played Yar, who then also, in one of the episodes, the Enterprise C or B comes through a time shift. And it completely changes the timeline, and it makes the Federation and the Klingons are at war. And Lieutenant Yar is still alive. She did not die from this during the Skin of Evil episode. And she then realizes, like, Guinan realizes, like, things aren't right.
Oh, man.
You know, Guinan's...
I hope they bring back Guinan. Yeah. What's Whoopi Goldberg been up to these days?
Oh, yeah. You know, they did, whatever show she's on, The View?
The View?
Or something like
No
that.
one cares
They
about
had...
The View.
I care about The View because Whoopi's on there.
No.
I don't watch it, but, you know. But anyway, I think they had Patrick Stewart on there, and they were talking about Star Trek days. So...
Be good times.
Could be possible. I know CBS has confirmed and not confirmed a bunch of people, but they're not gonna give stuff away. There's still, like, they confirmed, like, Michael Dorn isn't on set, but he signed some of the rap set gifts.
Ah.
So he had to be on set to sign these things.
You never know.
And CBS says, no, Michael Dorn is not there. I'm like,
CBS has done a really good job. Yeah, CBS has done a really good job throughout Discovery of just breaking your brain again and again. It started with, like, the last half of the first season, and just at the end of every episode, be like, here's this thing that's been in front of your face the whole time, and you didn't notice, and we're going to hit you with it.
Yeah. I didn't finish my thing because we went off a tangent.
Oh.
So, Guinan realizes something's wrong, and she's like, this is not right. You gotta save you gotta send them back to die, basically. The Enterprise C or B, I can't remember exactly. But, Picard's like, well, that's basically a death sentence, blah, 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 and she's like, it's the right thing to do. And Yar kind of feels it too, like something's not right. Yar goes back with the Enterprise B or C, whichever it may be, and fights with them as their security officer, since the security officer died. And it is then revealed later on in later episodes that she survived and was taken to a Romulan imprisonment camp, and that she had a child. And that child appears as a half Romulan, half human, and looks just like her. It's just so that she could have a cameo on TNG. But I really do truly wonder if they will bring her back for a cameo on this, since there are Romulans involved. It would be very amazing.
That would be super cool.
That would be very cool. I'd be like, oh my gosh.
So yeah, there's going to be a lot going on with Picard. We are super excited. It's gonna be coming out, yes, early next year, and we cannot wait. So I guess that
we should film our reactions.
I'm sure we will talk about it during the show once that
we should
happens.
film us just, like, watching it and cut in, like, some of our reactions. Because I know I will cry at least 50 times.
Although I don't think the powers that YouTube will let us do that much of the actual...
Well, you can't put the screen on there, but you can have it, like, in the background. Because people do that all the time with Game of Thrones.
Ah.
Every time a character died, you would see the reactions like, ah, ah. Sorry. I know, every Game of Thrones fan, I'm just kind of like...
Maybe it's something I was thinking, maybe that first episode we might end up having a party at the house, so that kind of depends on what everybody wants to do.
True. Well, we will see.
Yes.
But there will be reactions There would be glorious Picard and all his glory, and he looks like he's going to do a really good job for Picard. He has been very adamant about how the character is portrayed. He's been involved in the writing team. Yeah, Jonathan Frakes is coming back. Frakes coming back. Troy is coming back. And there was somebody else, and I can't remember.
A whole bunch of people. And hopefully they don't Admiral Akbar anybody and just like, hey, they're here, dead now.
I hope not. Anyway. Very excited. It's going to be great.
And that's us geeking out. Hey, while we're here, you want to help me out with something?
What?
Okay, cool. So I found out that Pepsi apparently last year put out a mystery flavor of Mountain Dew, and I had no idea. I hadn't really been paying attention. Yeah, I forget what they said it tasted like. Honestly, once I found out that it was last year, I didn't care. This year, Pepsi put out another mystery flavor of Mountain Dew, something they call VooDew. No, we haven't received any sort of paid promotional consideration for this, but
if you would like.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they want to, that'd be cool. So yeah, so it looks kind of cool. It's this like cloudy white, got a neat little label, and I figured we should try it. So let's give it a shot.
I want to say what it looks like, but that would be naughty.
yes, it does. Carbonated goodness, and now it. I've heard one possible thing of what it might. I suppose that's good enough for a taste here.
Sorry, go ahead.
So,
we'll go through what you were saying.
So I've heard of one possible thing that it might taste like. It already smells a little different than what I'm thinking, but I figured let's get our reactions and our thoughts on what it tastes like. What do you think?
To an adventure. Cotton candy.
Sweet tart?
Maybe.
Definitely sweet. Wow. I definitely think like a sweet tart. The one thing that I had heard of, someone said that it might taste like candy corn, and so I thought you were going to get really excited about that.
I love candy corn,
yes,
and I know all you candy corn haters are like, ugh, she likes candy corn. Blah, blah. Screw you.
Candy corn's not that bad. This does not taste like candy corn.
No, this is definitely not candy corn.
It's definitely I said it back at the soda festival that there needs to be more tart sodas. I feel like this is kind of what I was tasting when I was saying that.
It's kind of tart, but it's not like so tart that it makes you like, It's an enjoyable tart.
It's not like a liquid Sour Patch Kid, which would be a horrible soda. Oh, yeah.
Don't give them ideas.
No, they'd only have it at like Taco Bell or something like that, or Pizza Hut. They would have it at Pizza Hut where they have
Pizza Hut.
some ridiculous, stupid, like stuffed Cheez-It, oh God, ridiculousness. For all I know, it was a meme and it doesn't really exist. I haven't eaten at Pizza Hut in a long time because I'm not going back until they stop sucking. Huh. I mean, it's not bad.
Do they reveal what it is at the end of
I don't
October?
Know. I don't know. I don't think they do, because I don't think they ever like revealed what the last one is. It's definitely like a sweet and kind of a tart soda. I'm not sure if it's something that I would grab a bottle of it, because that's going to be a refreshing flavor. What would you?
I would drink it.
You would. What would you pair that with? Like, what would you say? Man, that would be great if you drank this while eating
tacos.
Really?
Well, I just associate that because of Baja Breeze anyway.
Baja Blast?
Baja Blast at
yeah.
Taco Bell.
I mean, I always think of kind of Mountain Dew with tacos anyway, because anytime my parents and I would go to Taco Bell up in New Hampshire, which was, about as the epitome of Mexican food as we would have, because I was a ridiculously picky eater. But, I mean, Mountain Dew always, that's what I drank with it, and that's before they had Baja Blast. So I always do kind of pair that, but I mean, I wouldn't. This isn't something you drink with like a steak or a burger.
I would drink it with a burger. But you've always questioned my food taste.
Yeah. There's plenty of things that she will eat after it's gone bad.
No, I don't do it on purpose.
No, not on purpose.
Don't tell them like I do it on purpose. Like I just wait for it to go bad.
No, sometimes I just have to go through the fridge and clean things out, or else she might eat it and then wonder why she feels sick.
But I check and I'm like, oh, it doesn't taste bad.
Yeah, I don't know what I'd. Yeah, I would imagine it might have to be something. What, spicy? Like, what if you had that with like hot wings?
That would be yum.
I just made her want wings.
I want hot stuff.
Yeah. So maybe it was spicy
I want
stuff.
hot stuff.
So maybe it was spicy stuff. So yeah, that is the Mountain Dew VooDew. Glad you got to experience that with us. So yeah, I guess that was a thing. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah.
So a big thank you to Jessie for helping me geek out about the new Picard trailer, although there's even a newer one that's come out since then that we may or may not get a chance to geek out about between now and January 23rd when Picard finally comes out. Also, thank you for helping me out trying out the new Mountain Dew VooDew flavor for this spooky season. So that was fantastic. That's about all the time we have for right now, but please go ahead, do me a big favor, hit the subscribe button right here on YouTube. Check out the page for Rich Does a Thing on Facebook, and check us out in all the major social media accounts that are out there, major, minor. I mean, we've got not only the page on Facebook, we got a Twitter, we got an Instagram, we got a Tumblr, we got a Snapchat, we got like just about everything. So check me out, and until next time, we will see you to do another thing. Bye.
Was it still recording? Oh no!
You gotta find a spot for that somewhere.
No. It was a big one. I just wanted to impress you. No.